Welcome once again to the online classes of biology. So in the previous class, I have explained you about the aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Then I have also explained about the glycolysis, ATP, etc. So in this video, I'm going to explain you about the gas exchange that takes place in plants. Then different respiratory organs in different organisms, special features of respiratory surfaces, etc. As we have discussed, plants also respire, isn't it? And for them, they need oxygen. And they take oxygen and they release carbon dioxide during respiration. And this exchange of gases takes place between the atmosphere and between them through special pores in them called the stomata, isn't it? So stomata helps in what? Exchange of gases between them. Okay, so by diffusion, through a process called diffusion, it takes place. Okay, so oxygen can enter into the cells, and from the that particular cells to the adjacent cells it can diffuse, and carbon dioxide, which is produced in each cells, will be diffusing into the nearby cells, and it will be going out of the plant through the stomata. So during night time, there is no photosynthesis, and carbon dioxide elimination will be the major activity, isn't it? There is no photosynthesis, as there is no sunlight during the night time. So the plants need to eliminate carbon dioxide. Understood? But during the daytime, what happens? Carbon dioxide is generated during respiration, and that will be used by the plants for photosynthesis. So the rate of respiration is much less in plants when compared to the rate of photosynthesis. So the amount of carbon dioxide produced will be less, and whatever is produced will be taken by the plants for photosynthesis. So the net gas released by the plant during daytime is oxygen. Is it clear? So as there is no carbon dioxide to release during daytime, oxygen release will be the major event. Means during daytime plants release oxygen. Okay, why it is? Because during daytime both photosynthesis and respiration takes place, but the rate of respiration is less when compared to the rate of photosynthesis. So the carbon dioxide released by the plants will be utilized for the process of photosynthesis. So there will be no net release of carbon dioxide. Understood? So this is the reason why it is not advised to keep plants in our bedroom, because in bedroom means in night time the plants releases carbon dioxide. Understood? Because only respiration is going on. Understood? And animals also, they have different organs for the uptake of oxygen and for the release of carbon dioxide. Okay? So terrestrial animals, they can take oxygen from the atmosphere directly, and the animals that live in water or plants live in water, they take dissolved oxygen. Means oxygen dissolved in the water molecules will be taken by the aquatic organisms. So as the amount of dissolved oxygen is less when compared to the atmospheric oxygen, the aquatic organisms, they have to respire more time. Okay, the rate of respiration in aquatic organisms are more. If you see a fish in the aquarium, you can see that they open their mouth. So how they respire? They also take dissolved oxygen, isn't it? So water will be continuously entering through their mouth. Okay, means between the mouth and the gill slits, you can see the operculum will be moving up and down if you observe a fish in the aquarium. Understood? So while doing so, exchange of gases takes place between the dissolved oxygen will be taken into the body by the gills, and the carbon dioxide produced will be expelled out. Understood? So as the dissolved oxygen is less when compared to the atmospheric oxygen, the rate of what respiration in aquatic organisms are more. Understood? So this question can be asked. The rate of breathing in aquatic organism is much more than that seen in terrestrial organisms. Why? Because aquatic organisms takes oxygen which is dissolved in the water. Okay, and the amount of dissolved oxygen will be very less when compared to the terrestrial organisms. Okay, so this is what the rate of respiration in aquatic organisms are much more. Okay, and different organisms, they evolve different organs. For example, in amoeba, their cell membrane itself is enough. And for organisms like frog, they can use their moist skin also, and also they can respire through the gills when they are in the larval stage, and they are having lungs when they are getting adult. Understood? And so some of them can respire or exchange breathing, they can do through skin, they can do it through the cell membrane. And in some organisms, aquatic organisms like fish, they are having gills. Okay, and in terrestrial organisms, there are lungs to breathe. So there are different organs to do the exchange of gases between the organism and the atmosphere. When you see the surface area where the exchange of gases takes place, whether it can be a cell membrane or a gill or a skin or lungs, whatever it is, okay, that is called as respiratory surface, where exchange of gases takes place. So they share certain common features. Okay, that is, they are very fine and delicate. Okay, they will be placed within, usually placed within the body, and there will be some passages that goes into the area, to this area, isn't it? And there will be some mechanism for moving the air in and out of this area. So likewise, and they will be highly supplied with blood capillaries. Understood? They will be moist so that oxygen can dissolve and enter into the blood capillaries. Understood? Highly vascularized means what? There will be rich supply of blood vessels. Understood? So all these are some of the common features that a respiratory surface shares. So now let's see how this respiratory system is present in human being. Okay, so respiratory system of human being consists of various parts like nostril, nasal passages, then you can see pharynx will be a common region for both respiratory and the digestive system. Then you can see the larynx, then you can see trachea. Then trachea divides into two, and they are known as bronchi. Okay, bronchi. Each bronchi enters into the lungs. Okay, and after entering into the lungs, they divides to form a number of bronchioles. Okay, and bronchioles ends in small, it branches and forms alveolar ducts, and at the end of the alveolar ducts you can see alveoli or air sacs. Okay, air sacs will be there. Understood? So like this you can see the alveoli at the end of the alveolar ducts. So the air will be taken through the nostrils, and these nostrils, they are having hairs, mucus, etc., that help in filtering the germs that is entering into the respiratory system. Okay, so that is one kind of defense. Okay, then the air will be going through the nasal passages, and then to the pharynx, and then to the trachea. Okay, when you see, have you heard about larynx or sound box? So this is the place where we can make the sound. Okay, they consist of vocal cords. So just like any instrument, when you play, it makes sound, due to the vibration of their due to the vibration of them. So in the same way, there are vocal cords. Okay, this vocal cords will make the sound. Okay, so the air that is passing into the vocal cords will vibrate the vocal cords there, and that makes the sound. And the amount of air that passes into the vocal cords is controlled by the lips, tongue and the teeth. Okay, so all this control how much air is going when you pronounce a specific letter. So the shape of your mouth or the position of your tongue will be different in different alphabets when you speak. So that controls the air that is going into the larynx, and in that way the larynx vocal cords, they vibrates and make the sound. Okay, then it goes through the trachea. Trachea is a tube. You can see that there are cartilaginous rings of cartilage in the trachea. Okay, so this helps in preventing the collapse of the trachea even though there is no air. Okay, they will not collapse, they should not collapse. Okay, so then it enters into the lungs. You can see that it divides into two, and this two will enter into the two different lungs. And after entering into that, okay, as we have already studied, they divide into a number of small branches called bronchioles, and bronchioles enters or branches again into alveolar ducts, and alveolar ducts in the alveoli. Okay, so alveoli, when you see, you can see that, just imagine a balloon, blonde balloon, which is having many blood vessels or blood capillaries in them. Okay, and when you respire or when you inhale, this gas which you inhale will not only having oxygen, it will contain all the components of air. Understood? Nitrogen, helium, okay, oxygen, carbon dioxide, all that will be there. Understood? So it will be going into the nostrils and to the nasal passages, pharynx, larynx, trachea, then it enters into the bronchi and bronchioles, alveolar ducts. It will finally reach and it will be filled in the air sacs called alveoli. Understood? Now let's study about the breathing mechanism. Okay, so how breathing occurs, that we will see. Okay, in the diagram you can see here a diaphragm. Okay, so our chest cavity or the respiratory organs are sealed in the form of a chest cavity. You can see here. Okay, so there are rib cage, okay, and there is a diaphragm. So it simply looks like a closed cage. Understood? So this helps in the process of respiration, that is called breathing mechanism. Okay, so during breathing, what happens is, okay, we lift our ribs, isn't it? You can see, observe when a person is sleeping, you can see their chest will move up, isn't it? So we lift our ribs and flatten our diaphragm. Okay, so what happened during that time? Chest cavity becomes larger, the volume increases. So when volume increases, what happened? Pressure decreases, and the pressure of gas which is present outside will be more than the air pressure which is in the lungs, isn't it, or in the chest cavity. So what happened? The air will be sucked in from outside to inside. So from outside, how it will reach? Through the nostrils, nasal passages, then pharynx, larynx, trachea, then the bronchi, bronchioles, alveolar ducts, and finally to the alveoli. It will get filled in the alveoli. Understood? So in this way only, what happened? inhalation takes place. Understood? Now, how exhalation takes place? So, during this exhalation, what happens is our ribs will come back to the original position and the diaphragm also will move back to the original position, isn't it? So, chest cavity's volume decreases. If chest cavity's volume decreases, pressure increases. So, air will be what rushed out. Okay, it will be forced to go out from the chest cavity to the outside. That is, from the alveolar ducts, it will go to the alveoli to alveolar ducts, then bronchioles, isn't it? Bronchi, trachea, then to larynx, and from larynx to what? To the different the nasal passages, and from nostrils it can go out. Understood? So this is happening during the breathing process, or due to the presence of the sealed condition of the chest cavity by the rib cage and also by the diaphragm. Okay, the exchange or the inhalation and exhalation takes place. This is called what? Breathing mechanism. As we breathe in, okay, the air will get filled in the alveolar duct. I already explained to you. So in that air, I told there will be different gases, and from that oxygen will be taken by the blood capillaries which is surrounding the alveoli. Okay, and it will give, this blood will pass to different parts of the body and give oxygen there to each cell. And when it comes back from the different parts of the body to the alveoli, understood? The blood means alveoli means around the alveoli, I told there are network of blood capillaries. This will have more carbon dioxide. Understood? So carbon dioxide enter into the from the blood capillaries, carbon dioxide enter into the alveoli. Understood? And the alveoli, which is having more carbon dioxide, will be expelled out during exhalation. Okay, so there will be a residual volume, means a certain amount of air will be present in the lungs during the breathing cycle. That is, when the air is taken in and when it is going out, the lungs will have residual volume of air, so that there will be sufficient time for the lungs to absorb or to blood can absorb more oxygen, and it can give what? Carbon dioxide to the the air which is present in the alveoli. Understood? So in this way, exchange of gases, that exchange of gases I will explain that in the next class. So this is happening during the breathing process. Okay, that is during inhalation and during the exhalation. Is it clear? And then if the body size is large, okay, the diffusion pressure, like in case of plants, the respiratory rate is less, I told, because they thus need less amount of energy only, isn't it? So the sufficient amount of oxygen, okay, to ensure that sufficient amount of oxygen is delivered to the cells, there are respiratory pigments, okay, in the lung, that helps to take oxygen from the lungs and carry it to the tissues. And in human being, that pigment is known as, okay, the hemoglobin. You would have heard, okay, hemoglobin. And this pigment is present in our RBC, and when it combines with oxygen, it forms oxyhemoglobin. So in the form of oxyhemoglobin, the oxygen get transported from lungs to the to the various tissues. Okay, most of the oxygen is getting transported in the form of what? Oxyhemoglobin. So hemoglobin is what? It's a pigment. Understood? Where what happens? This can oxygen can combine with this pigment, and it will form oxyhemoglobin, and in this way it will be getting transported. So what I have told you today is the respiratory respiration or exchange of gases takes place in plants. Then I told you about the exchange of gases takes place in different organisms, the different respiratory organs in them, the common features of respiratory system, breathing mechanism, and also about the respiratory pigment. Okay, let's continue this in the next class. Okay, so please draw the diagram in your copy. I'll be sending you the notes. Okay, so you do practice the diagrams. Understood? So it will be easy for you to draw in the exam. Otherwise, it will be difficult. Okay, so thank you very much. We'll meet in the next class.